Hi, I'm Chanele. Well, yes, beyond being a business owner or being, an entrepreneur, first and foremost, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a granddaughter, I'm a niece, and I'm a wife. So all of these different roles, yes, the entrepreneurial stuff, that's great, but for me, the role that I play to my family and the role that my family plays for me is most important. So definitely the shyness, and I knew that I had a lot to say, and I knew I wanted to be more, I don't want to say outspoken, but I knew that I wanted to not feel as shy speaking up and sharing the things that I like. So that was something that I struggled with, especially when you have friends that are more outspoken and they're fine being the center of the attention. So that was really difficult. And then also just growing up being a Black woman, that comes with its own sort of set of struggles.
And what is that like?
That is a continuous journey. And I would say, from being younger and sort of realizing, oh, like I'm different from everybody else in the class, to now it's a very different experience. So I would say, starting off when I was younger, I was bullied by this one girl. Starting from kindergarten, I don't even know how that even happens, but I guess they learn it from their parents. And I was bullied, from kindergarten, and my mom had to come in and sort of speak to the school and say, you need to make sure this girl doesn't bully my daughter. But that same girl sort of bullied me throughout, I would say, elementary school, just didn't like me, didn't want other kids to play with me, would, when they're playing over in the side, oh, I don't want Chanele to play, or things like that. So yeah, that was really my first sort of encounter and realizing, oh, I'm sort of different from everybody else. So that really bothered me, and I think that's really where the shyness came from, is where I didn't really want to put attention on myself, and just always having this girl, making comments like, oh, chocolate face, or things like that. That was difficult to deal with when I was younger, and it does happen, and it still happens. And then even to, that happened when I was in kindergarten, so however many years ago, right? And then even to, let's say now, I can still go into certain areas and still have people, look at me or think that I'm a certain way or things like that, making those sort of judgments. That happens all the time. It came to a point where I really just wasn't happy in sort of the direction that I was going. Yes, I finished school, it was great, I got a job and I was working, everything was great, and I had everything that I thought that I wanted, but there was still something missing. And I started to sort of think back to this moment in high school where, people are signing yearbooks and you're graduating, things like that. And someone had said to me, oh, I'm always gonna remember you as this small little shy girl. And that conversation started to run through my head just a few years ago. And I'm like, well, I can either be remembered as that or as something so much more. And that's what I did, and that's sort of how Duo Dress Well started to be created, and so I sort of think about that and think about what I wanted to do, the sort of mark that I wanted to leave on the world, what sort of legacy I wanted to leave, and just sort of said, well, you know what, I don't want to be shy anymore. I have so much that I want to say, I have so many things that I'm passionate about, and I'm sure that there's so many more people that will be interested in what I have to say, and so I just said, I'm going to change, I'm going to sort of make myself into the woman that I want to be and not look back. So. Okay, well, I want to create this business, but let me just start it as a blog where I just sort of blog a few times a week and just sort of see if I can build that audience. I wouldn't have to be in front of anyone, I wouldn't have to do any services, I'd be at home behind my computer, I can still be shy, and that's fine.
That was your
so
safety net.
that was my safety net. And then I sort of started that, and then people started reading it and wanted more from me, and I'm like, oh shoot, I guess I have to do this. And I think back to that quote from Amy Cuddy where she says, you got to fake it until you become it, and that's honestly where I was in the beginning, where I wasn't as confident as people thought I was, but they'd say, oh, Chanele, you're so confident, you're such a great writer, you're such this, you're such that, and I was like, oh, really? I am? I guess I gotta be it, right? So even though I sort of had to fake it in the beginning, I think that helped me and sort of forced me out of my shell, because people started to see me beyond how I saw myself, and I wanted to live up to that expectation. So I made sure that, I could become a better speaker, and now trying to get different speaking opportunities so that I can become more confident as a public speaker, and that's really, really helped. So when I think back to the last 2 years, I've come a long way when it comes to that. I had no idea. When I thought about me at this stage, I had no idea who I'd become. I knew I wanted to do amazing things. I knew that I wanted to help people, but I had no idea what that would look like. I had never, Duo Dress Well was not even a thought at that time in high school, and so just to sort of think back, it's wow, it's crazy to see how really you can sort of shape your own future, because at that point, I didn't know what my future would have looked like. Do Well, Dress Well is me through and through. It's my brand. It's everything. It encapsulates me into this brand. And Do Well, Dress Well, that exact sort of word or brand came to me one day. I was walking home from an internship, and honestly, the words just popped in my head. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know anything, but I remember telling my now husband, do well, dress well. I want to do something with it, but I don't really know. And I wrote it down, and it's funny because I still have this notebook where I wrote it down. I have this idea for do well, dress well, but I have no idea what's going to happen. I know I want to build it into something, but I don't know what it's going to look like. And that was, I think, 2012 or 2013. Wrote it down and just sort of left it. And in between that time, I was sort of changing jobs and still sort of figuring out what I wanted to do in my day job. And then I was also getting ready to get married, and I had some sort of losses in my family, and so there were a number of issues. And I said, well, I don't want to start it now because I just feel like there's not enough balance, and I'm not at a place where I can start it and commit to it. So after all sort of the wedding and all these things that were happening in my life, I waited it out, exactly. And I still would write everything out. I have all my notes over the years of writing it out, but just not being at that place where I felt as though I could start it.
How did you know you weren't at that place? All right.
There was too much going on, and I just knew that when I was ready, I would know. And just between planning a wedding, which was chaotic, and having family members that were sick, I just knew that I couldn't focus on that. And for me, it was just, I want to start this, and I want to commit to it, and I want it to be good. And if I can't do that, I can't start it. And so I just waited. And after all that sort of stuff was done, I said, you know what, I can do this now. I feel like I'm ready. And so I just dedicated myself to sort of building up my plan, getting the website up, and just starting it. And I just said, this is the day I'm going to start it. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to let it out to the world. And then February 1st of 2016, that was when I just press publish. I'm I don't even like the way everything looks, but I'm going to get it out there and just see where it takes me. My mission is to inspire women to succeed in style and to make a statement. So for me, that means just making sure that whatever you're doing, whether it's it's your resume, whether it's your LinkedIn profile, whether it's your outfit, that you're doing something to be remarkable, to make a statement, to let people know that this is you, this is your brand, and people can't mistake that for anybody else. My main thing is to never be afraid to be yourself. And I think for the longest time, I never really wanted to fully be myself. I love color. I love color. I love prints. I love patterns. And for me, that's what gives me my confidence. That's, what people know me for. That's become part of my personal brand. And so, if you love color and you want to wear head to toe patterns, pink, whatever it is, just do it. Just be yourself, and just don't be afraid to build your personal brand, even if it's different from somebody else. And I know, we go on social media and we follow people and we want to wear what they're wearing. We want to act like how they are. And if you don't fit into that, that's okay. I don't fit into a lot of, most bloggers online. They may not dress the way that I do or look the way that I do or like the things that I do, but I don't really care about that, to be honest. I'm just who I am. I'm Chanel. I like color. I like pattern. I like a bunch of different things that may be different from somebody else, but that's who I am. And so just letting people know that they need to be themselves and just be confident in that. I didn't have to sort of fit into what everyone else was doing. I didn't have to sort of force myself to pick some program just because you have to pick something. Just be yourself and sort of let things happen naturally, and that's when the best things happen. And so really the last year has just been about me being myself and sort of being in tune with the things that I'm naturally good at and the things that people just come to me for in terms of advice. Before even Do Well, Dress Well started, I was still sort of helping people with their resumes. I was still helping people with their outfits, but never really thought about it. And then I'm wait, this is who I am. I need to build this into something. And so that's how Do Well, Dress Well was born, just out of all the years of helping people, out of all the years of people giving me compliments on my personal style, but never really paying attention to it. And so when I sort of packaged all that up into this Do Well, Dress Well brand, that's where the magic started. So. I am more because I'm dedicated to helping others. I'm more because I'm not afraid to be myself. And I'm more because I know my story. I know why I'm doing this. I know why I started my brand. And I know what my purpose is and what my passion is. And I know that's just helping others and inspiring others and mentoring others. And I'm more because I'm just not afraid to make a statement.